make sure. Yep, we are live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We are live from Patasco Bicycles, Elkridge, here with Donald. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live on Black and Tan. We're live on DMV MTV and also on all the social medias that we have. So I'll pass it over to Donald so he can introduce our guest tonight.
Hold on, Elvis.
Yeah.
Elvis, I've got a question for you.
Oh, for me?
Yeah. Is he receiving money on the side from Kelly Benefits?
I don't know. I thought about that today. I was like, he's not representing any brands that we have here at the shop, so I don't know what's that all about.
It may or may not be the second time in that last two times I've seen him. He's wearing that same, like he has more than one, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I definitely want to say I'm not getting any money. We are on a tornado watch, so be careful out there, guys. We're still here. If we're still, this is live. So if we're still kicking it, we're still here.
Yeah.
All right, go Donald, because he wants to put out all the sponsors that he has. So all right, go ahead.
So
Get closer to the mic.
hello. So all right. So check it out. We sponsor Kelly Benefits, and we're kind of in that frame of mind where I went to watch them race in Virginia this weekend, and the guys kind of showed off, man. They crushed it. They did really, really, really good. So since we're a sponsor of Kelly Benefits and they provide me with some apparel, I figured it would be a good opportunity for me to show them that I support them. So
yeah. It's a road bike team, right?
It's a cycling team, racing team. So they do everything. They do everything from cross to mountain to road. But I think they're strongest definitely in like road racing and crits.
Do they have room?
Episode number
It's 30. It's 39.
is very good. Is sponsored by Kelly Benefits. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah. Well, yeah, kind of. We might as well say that. Episode number 39 is sponsored by Kelly's Benefits.
I'm
Kelly's-
very
Kelly-
With no
I'm
money,
very
though.
impressed. I'm very impressed.
Because then
Yeah.
we'll get demonetized if we say the sponsor and
Do
us,
you
but they're not
realize-
giving us money.
Do you realize how hard it was? I made sure that one of the things that I came to the table with today was to make sure that I knew it was 39.
Wow, I'm impressed.
Yeah.
Really.
I wrote it down on the palm of my hand.
Paul, I actually have a PowerPoint out front of us that says 39, so he'll remember.
It says, Donald, don't forget, it's really big in red. Donald, don't forget it's 39. So we also have a guest. He's a friend of mine, a friend of the shop. He actually used to work here at Patapsco back in the day. His name is VJ Raju. VJ, why don't you say what's up to everybody?
What's up? When I was in mine, Donald.
We brought him in and we started riding together when he was like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, must have been 15.
Yeah, so, his mom used to drop him off at work and with his lunch that had his name written on his bag that had his name written on it. And the thing about it is I would seriously tease him and mess with him so much, but he was so damn fast on a bike that I couldn't really tease him too much because he would just take it out on me when we got in the woods.
I met VJ probably around when I started mountain biking, which is about like 11 years ago. I met him at Fairland for the first time in one of the MVD group rides.
Was it when you were overweight as well?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Did you say that on your introduction? I'm sorry, I think I missed it.
Right. He used the past tense. He used the past tense, so you're feeling like you're really at your weight.
Yeah. Well, when I first met VJ, he was just coming off of his candy addiction as well, and
Soda, candy, sugar.
he yeah, he described himself as just a gamer who sat on the couch and ate nothing but like sweets.
So he was a preteen.
Yeah, normal, like, you know. So, what do you, VJ? You have a race coming up this weekend. What's up with it?
Yeah, so it's a 108 miler down in Richmond called the Mountain Cat 100. 50% road, 50% trail. The trail's not like super difficult. It's like Tapsco at most, so not technical. Just a lot of road. It's a lot of road in between parks. So you start in the city, you ride down to Pocahontas State Park where they had Monster Cross. Do 20 miles there, and you ride back up and do the rest of the trails around the city. So like last year we did it. I did it on single speed, and we averaged like 12 something. So we were rolling pretty good. Like we weren't the lead group. And then they also have like an XL edition, which is like I don't know how many miles, 150.
Go on.
So like Gordon Wadsworth did that and won that by a long shot. Just smashed it. But he like blew by us just talking. I'm just like suffering. I just ate like 12 hot dogs at an aid station without to throw up. Yeah, so that's this weekend, Saturday. Donald loaned me his Epic World Cup, so that should be nice. Already done some modifications on it. Spray painted it.
My man.
The whole thing.
It's not bright enough.
Wrote Huffy on it to get
Yeah.
that branding in. So
Take that S works off.
yeah, no one wants that.
No.
Yeah, I
I'm
want
not
to
a
see that.
dentist. I don't qualify.
Did you make any changes to the bike or just as is?
He's
yeah.
gonna
Average.
have to make. You're gonna have to change the suspension to make it work for you,
I changed the suspension. I saw that video where you can like set them in 3 different modes.
right?
Because Donald, I don't know how. That's a hardtail the way you have it set up.
I have it set in.
But
Well, you got to remember.
If you change your mind
There's
and
a-
you want to take mine, I told Donald today, if you change your mind and you want to take a medium, let me know.
He has the same, basically same bike. So there is a YouTube channel that I follow that I think they do incredible content. We're gonna actually have them on here at some point. They're called the Bicycle Station, and they actually swear that the Epic World Cup is the best gravel bike you can buy. They put drop bars on their Epic World Cup, and they've been racing it and actually have won using that bike in a couple of races. I've tried to play around with it with gravel tires, and the problem with me testing out a lot of things, it depends on where I am as far as my fitness. My fitness isn't consistent enough for me to say, oh, I rode this bike in January and it felt slow, and look at my times. And then I come back 3 months later and my fitness is much better. Where I think the best person to test a lot of product is a guy or a girl who has a consistent fit. Their fitness is more consistent, so they can, from time to time, can really give accurate testing versus like me, who, again, like I said, my fitness is so up and down that it just, if I was in good shape when I rode the Epic and tried to see if it compare it to the Crux, the Epic might have been faster if I was, so basically what I'm saying is my fitness sucks. But yeah, they're swearing by it and saying that bike is, they put drop bars on it, they've raced it over long distances, and they say it's the best gravel bike that they've ever ridden. And I've been watching them, and these guys look legit. I mean, they remind me a lot of us in a way as far as their riding styles and the bikes that they choose. They play around with a lot of the things that we play around with. So I'm curious to see when you get back what you thought of that bike and how it handled.
I mean,
Maybe
I do
just
want to say,
around the neighborhood, it's fast. It's a fast bike outright. Like, I don't have to, coming off the bikes I'm usually on, like, that's again a rocket ship, So
yeah.
why don't
not
you
a-
why
not a
don't you
good comparison.
how many bikes do you have right now?
I have like 7 bikes, about.
So out of the 7 bikes that you have, let's just talk about the mountain bikes.
Okay.
Are any of the mountain bikes under 30 pounds?
No.
Do any of the mountain bikes have anything that's like that would be off the shelf? Like, is anything like you would see anyone else riding?
Kinda, somewhat. Tires.
No, really. I think
I think he's talking about your handlebars.
no. That's just one thing.
That's just one.
That's just one thing. Who rides 29 plus anymore? VJ does.
I feel like you feel this bike is fast. I mean, the Epic World Cup is the fastest XC bike I have ever ridden.
It's one of the
And
fastest.
the fact that you're coming from from a very heavy bike.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna feel like you
He's
can
trying
fly
to be
with
nice.
this.
He's trying to be nice.
No, I've rode his bikes before and
all
seen his
family
bikes,
Here. We're all family here,
and they're like 1,000 pounds.
dude. I am. You
I
want
don't
to?
know
You
why-
want to?
Why did Donald start with the mountain bikes? You don't have to go all the way to the mountain bikes.
We
Yeah.
totally don't.
The bikes themselves are heavy.
Oh, I think that I don't think he has a road bike that's
That's
under
the
30
question.
pounds.
Do you have a bike out of the about 7 that he owns? About 7, not 7, but about 7. Do you have a bike that weighs less than the World Cup setup right now?
No, not even close. Not close.
Paul, I don't think there is a bike that gets close to how light the World Cup is right now.
Yeah, those World Cups can get crazy light. For a full suspension bike, I don't think you can really find too many bikes full suspension.
Yeah.
That and I mean, and you lose that. You got to use that when it comes to that World Cup. You got to use it loosely, right? Because I say it's more of a flex tail than a full suspension or something like that, right? Because it literally has. It's missing a pivot up in the back. It does flex instead of a pivot in one section, but it's as light as anything that I've ever owned, and I've owned a lot of bikes.
I do feel like it's also very comfortable, even though they said it only has 80 mil travel in the back. But I find it very comfortable, and I done very long rides in Patasco with rocks and stuff.
Paul has an Epic. I had to change my bike back to like you're still running the one-piece cockpit on yours with the negative.
Right.
I couldn't. I tried it. I ended up changing it out and putting a rise on it. I just can't. I can't put myself in that position and off-road and make myself feel like I'm handling the bike the way that I'm used to it. So
Elvis, he wouldn't do it to himself, so he did it to me. That's what he's trying to do.
Yeah. No, well, Paul,
I cut.
He's used his seat to handlebar drop is way worse than mine. Even on the road, I can't have a seat to handlebar drop the way that Paul rides his bike and not come off the bike feeling super uncomfortable. And in the woods, I feel like whenever I do that far drop, seat to handlebar drop, like a negative stem in the woods, when it's time for me to do what I do best, which is more of the technical style riding, I can't get over things the way that I need to on a mountain bike. I feel like I'm a little too low. When you look at a trials bike, the handlebars are up high, super high. It's because it helps them get snap and it helps them with positioning when it comes to technical stuff. And I think my riding style is more technical than fast. I get my speed because I'm able to ride a lot of the technical stuff that people can't ride, and that's what I make up my time in. So yeah, my bike has to be set up for me in a certain way, and I just can't ride the way that you and Paul ride. Not even close. I get on Paul's bike and I want to ride it because they look good, and that style looks better, I think. But I just can't. I can't handle the bike the same way that you guys do when that bar is dropped.
So pro though.
It looks pro. It looks pro. I know I look straight amateur with my riser bars and my stem -6, +6.
I have mine set to like negative. I took out all the spacers that it comes with,
I know.
and it's just the handlebar
That's commitment.
touching the frame,
That's commitment.
just a little spacer,
Yeah, that's commitment. And you cut it.
and I cut it.
That's commitment.
Bravery
Yeah.
and commitment.
I've only committed
Welcome.
once that much
Welcome.
in life, in my entire life, and that was with marriage.
And now you have a kid.
And now I have a kid. So, yeah, so
Wow, it's funny how we compare our relationships, right?
Yeah, so-
with the bike.
yeah, I mean, I'm so bad with committing to certain styles and certain things that
You know, your wife is watching.
I'm
She
sure
already
she is.
put comments on.
I'm
the,
sure she is.
Yeah.
But I'm so bad with committing to stuff that I am cleaning out my garage because I have so many sets of rims and tires for my cars that I have to get rid of them. So let's go back to VJ. Hey VJ, so you started racing. When did you start racing? I mean, I remember you weren't racing when we first met. You were just riding.
Yeah, so we met, what, 2012 maybe? 2012?
Something like that.
So I only started riding, like seriously riding, in like 2012. So, I mean, to preface all this, Donald knows, I'm sure Paul knows, I was a hefty boy.
Yeah, big
So
boy.
I was a big boy. I topped out at 236. It's my
Yeah,
heavy.
yeah, that's big boy.
Um,
Because you're 5'6", 5'7",
5'8", Donald. Give me a
5'8". Okay, 5'8", 5'8".
Come on.
Big boy. That's a big boy.
Yeah, 236, and that was when I was even shorter, probably. So at the time, yeah, maybe 5'6". Yeah, just a lot of soda, a lot of candy, and I started riding the indoor trainer 30 minutes a day. Did that for like 9 or 10 months, and dropped down to 137. So 99.
Wow.
That's
And then
impressive.
From there, I started like riding outside and started racing from there, and that's pretty much when I met you, I think. So,
Yeah. So 2013, me and VJ, literally, I had not much going on in my life besides just riding and working. So all I had to do and is ride, like literally after work, me and VJ would ride he was going to UMBC at that time. And we would ride every day. And no rest days. So we would go out and all we did was KOM hunt for a whole year. So like our goal was to have, I think at that point we had like 20 pages of KOMs or
Jeez.
something like that. We were just going out and just on the mountain bike. We weren't even really riding road at all. I wasn't. We would go out and just KOM hunt and have fun on our bikes. No training. And VJ started racing and started doing really well in racing. But just like his bikes, he can't race a regular race, of course. He's racing single speed while everybody else is on geared bikes. So so now you're on a single speed, VJ, and you're racing. What did the single speed racing, what did that lead you to?
Honestly, so single speed racing, then I started racing like Cat 1, Pro, Open. And then honestly did that for a while and then went back to the single speed. And that's just because, I don't know, single speed's fun. Like, it's miserable, yeah, it, like, sucks, but it's still fun in some way. I guess, like, suffering that bad. But in general, it's just like, yeah, local races. I never got super far with the single speed, but
Well, that's not true. You went to Worlds.
yeah, I went to Worlds
can-
in Slovenia. That was like, I mean, it's not really like a qualifying event or anything. It's more of like a party. You know, single speeders, they're all drinking beer, doing drugs, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so Gordon actually won that race in 2019.
Yeah, you went and did you go with him or did you?
Yeah, so we met in Italy and then drove over the border to Slovenia.
Right.
And like housed together, and we met my friend from New Zealand who also met us out there. And he's actually he won single speed worlds in like 2017 when he was in Australia. So he has one of the tattoos. So you get a tattoo if you win.
If you would have won, would you have gotten a tattoo?
Probably. I mean,
Right.
yeah, you kind of have to. Unless I don't know.
But it's a lot of people don't understand that single speed worlds is like VJ said, it's not really like a race. Like you win the race, but in order to win, you still have to win like a go-kart race or something strange that they do afterwards, and it's all about who wins both of those type events.
Right. So like Gordon won the race. He destroyed the race, but the decider came down to finding a beer inside a giant like hay pile, and he lost that. So really, it's like trivial who's the fastest. It's just like a weird decider. So I
But
think
people take it really serious. I mean,
yeah.
it's like it sounds like it's a party and everything like that, but there's legit people that there's legit pros too. Like
Yeah.
there's people that have raced in the tour that have raced single speed worlds. So I mean, it's not like they don't train for it. It's not like they don't go hard. It's some legit fast people that race this.
I mean, it seems like almost every race has that category now, right? Like a single speed, or it always has been that way. Like local races, or like I know Shenandoah has that.
More local. I think it's more local than like big races. Like you go to a national cross country race or something like that. There's not. Paul, you would know better than me. There's no single speed class.
There's a single speed class in cross. I don't think there's a single speed. Well, you know what? Actually, I think in mountain biking there is. In marathon, I don't think there is. But in mountain biking nationals, there's shorter courses. There is a single speed category, but not in marathon.
Okay.
That I'm aware of. So,
Yeah, I didn't even think that there would be in
cross
anything
right now. Yeah.
in the cross race. That's not local. That's also like recognized as like you can be a national level champion.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
a lot of the cross pros actually race the single speed the day before as like a warm up, and then race the pros the next day. Which a lot of like people who just race single speed full time get a lot like they get upset because that's their main thing, and then the pros come in and destroy them, you know. So it's kind of contentious at times, especially for cross, where mountain biking's a little bit more chill. Like Gordon Wadsworth was the national champion a few times. And, like I signed up for nationals for single speed, but I actually slept through the beginning, so didn't show up. But
What's
Now-
the
Now,
what ratio?
now you guys know.
Why? What's the gear ratio you were racing on the single speed?
so I was always between 32.18
Okay.
or 32.17. So
Depending on the course, right?
right. So on like a
okay.
hilly course like Patapsco, for example, I'd run 32.18 normally. I found that to be like almost for all Maryland trails, like the perfect ratio. And then for like flatter courses like Schaefer Farms or Rosaryville, I do that 17 cog.
17.
Yeah, but even then, like, so last year at the Mountain Cat, the race I'm doing this weekend, I ran a 32.17, and last year I was spinning out so bad on the road.
Yeah.
Like these drawn out road sections, that was honestly the hardest part of the race, was trying to keep up with all the geared riders spinning my heart out. And that exhausted me. So like after that, I was like, I'm never doing that single speed again. Or if I do, I'm going to gear with like a lot smaller cog. So
Yeah, but I mean, it's a double-edged sword, right? So I
It is.
mean, now you're affected on all with any kind of elevation. You're going to be climbing on that heavier gear. I mean, you're gonna either burn your lungs out or you're going to burn your legs out. You got to
that's the
pick
thing
your
with single
poison.
speed. It's like you're in the right gear 10% of the time. It's like it's always a losing battle.
I always laugh and I'm like, some of the people I know that are so ridiculously fast with a single speed could win almost any race they wanted to win if they didn't handicap themselves. Like especially when, and I get it, you're not really handicapping yourself when you're racing other single speeders, but when you take a single speed bike to a normal race and you're racing against people with gears, you've handicapped yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a reason that we have gears. You know, a lot of people have this narrative that, oh, you can go just as fast on a single speed. Well, if you put the same amount of power with gears and you actually used your gears correctly, I promise you'll go a lot faster with gears.
Yeah.
Someone said, Maggie on the chat said, no pain, no gain.
Yeah, well,
I do
ask
feel
ask VJ's knees about that.
well.
Yeah, my
I did
knees
I did single speed for a while, and one of the things that I mean, it is a lot of suffering, but at the same time, it's like I feel like in a way you focus. Like if you're doing like an endurance ride with a single speed, it's like it makes you feel like I got no worries. Like I have less things that can break down on my bike. You know, like
No, I get that.
Shifting and all of that.
And as much as I'm talking about single speeds, when I closed my shop in just up the street from here, Avalon Cycles, I moved out west. I didn't have a lot of money, so one of the ways that I got by and I was still able to ride was I got a Chumba single speed bike. I sold to a friend of mine named Steve Yep when I got back. But I rode that single speed bike for almost a year and a half. It was I was a different rider then. It was
Right.
before I broke my leg. It was before a lot of, I was younger, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as I was able to get back on a geared bike, I got gears right away.
Bill on the chat. Sorry, go ahead, Paul.
The thing about single speed, though, when I've raced back and forth between the two, there's more of a cognitive load. And what I mean by that is you've got to pay attention to lines and momentum and course a lot more than when you have gears. You're not like, I don't know if BJ, if you agree with that, but like you just don't do. It's not the same course riding a geared bike versus a single bike. You take turns differently. You carry momentum differently. Use your brakes differently. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, so take Patapsco, for example. Like, a lot of those small, short climbs I can do way faster on a single speed just because, one, it forces you to go fast, but two, like you said, you think about the descents leading into the uphill. So you try to maintain as much momentum as possible. And that's just honestly, like, it comes in time. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, single speeding makes you a better rider. And it does in a lot of senses because if you can take those skills and transfer them over to a geared bike, it's going to make you that much faster and that much more efficient on the geared bike.
No, I agree. I agree.
So Bill brings up something good. He says on the chat, it says, I don't think, let me put it up. It says, I don't think it's that big of a handicap when you factor in weight. And on that note, I want to say, what's the perfect, like if someone because like if you don't know your style of riding, then you kind of like test everything in a way. But if someone wanted to build like the perfect setup for a single speed, like what would you say? Like no dropper pores, no, like, because I seen single speeds that they go full like mode, like a rigid fork, like a single speed, like small gear. Like what will be the perfect setup that you think?
Right. I would say depends on the course, right? The nice thing about a rigid single speed is it's going to be super light. And a lot of the times when you're pedaling out of the saddle, you're over the handlebars, right? So if you have a suspension fork, you're going to be bobbing that suspension fork all the time. So
Which loss of watts. That's loss of watts. That's an inefficiency.
it's so tiring.
So bobbing is bad.
Yeah,
Bobbing
bobbing.
is bad.
Um,
I love how he pulls it all together. You know what I'm saying? Like he makes it real for us.
Yeah.
So did you had a dropper pose on your single speed or?
I never did. That was honestly before dropper posts were actually good. I think the
Okay.
only one that was really out was like the reverb.
Yeah,
That
it
was-
wasn't
that
a
was
lot
the
of
one
dropper
like-
post at all.
Yeah, and it like failed, so it became kind of like a suspension seat post most of the time.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, droppers. I was probably one of the last. I held out for so long with the dropper post. I refused to get a dropper post. Paul, you also were late coming into the dropper post. Some of your
I
bikes
don't-
still don't have them.
I still don't run a dropper post on my XC bike. I do on my Enduro bike, but not on my XC bike.
Man,
No dropper pose.
Oh, you don't have a dropper?
No dropper.
That's
pose.
right. Yeah, because you're a weight weenie. You do it for different reasons. Like you got to have the lightest. Little bit
If you
of
don't
thunder.
have a dropper
Little bit of
post-
thunder back there. It's kind of scary.
Yes.
We had a tornado warning.
Well, they said it
come
was
through.
heading this way.
So yeah. So when you hear a little bit of thunder, if we go take shelter down in the basement, you know where we're at. We'll resume this after the tornado comes through. But anyway, yeah. So you're really into weight. Like even I'm into weight to a certain extent, but you're more into it than I am, Elvis, for sure. Paul, you're more into it than I am as well. Like you like your bikes lighter.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind a nice. Okay, so let's get to this part. What was your frame? Was it like titanium, carbon, or because like a single speed that is titanium, man, it looks so nice, dude.
He's had all the tie.
Oh, he had all of them.
I've had all sorts of bikes for different reasons, but the fastest hardtail, and I'll still say this to this day, was the Ellsworth Enlightenment.
Yeah, that thing was a rocket.
It was Ellsworth's carbon hardtail. They made it for like what, Donald, like 8 years or something.
Yeah, forever.
So you can actually run that single speed with like they had like these sliding drops that allow you to tension the chain out. But that bike was so.
What was it called?
It was the Ellsworth Enlightenment, or it was the Ellsworth Enlightenment, their hardtail.
Yeah.
It was I mean, it was fast. There was times where I think we both raced Germantown with it. We both did. Did you have one that race as well?
Maybe. I think I might have been on my Janus.
Okay. But yeah, I had one that race. I did really well in that race. Showed up typically late and unprepared. I don't even think I had water bottle. And did the race. Did the race. I came in third in Cat 2.
BJ, are you going to drink in your 108-mile ride?
So I actually decked out Donald's bike with 2 bottle cages. I know those bottle boats were so stuck in just from being like never used. So I'm like, okay. So 2 bottles. I got a little frame bag for the front. And I think the bike's happier that way. So Donald, I think I have it now.
Nice.
You put a frame bag on my bike.
Those little like stylish rolls in the front.
Make sure it's
He
not
said-
rubbing the paint.
He said
That's-
stylish.
That's all I'm asking. Make sure nothing touches the paint. You know how prissy I am about my bikes.
You should have brought us a picture of how like the bike looks from before and after
Yes.
Oh,
Donald's
yeah.
possession. That would have
Yeah.
been
In
cool.
this crew, VJ is most likely to actually have ribbons
Oh, for sure.
out of the grips by the time race
For
time.
sure.
Yeah.
I used to always say VJ would rather lose and make everyone around him laugh and have a good time than win. So, there's been times where we did a cyclocross race, and we got into the cyclocross race for free because I think Patapsco was sponsoring it or something like that. So we got in for free. So the whole time, me and VJ just joked around, and we were pushing each other down in the sand pits and bumping each other, having a good time. And out of nowhere, the announcer said the fastest lap gets a free handlebar, or what? I don't know what they said they were giving away, but you ended up winning a free handlebar. And out of us joking around, this is how fast VJ is. So it's the fastest lap of the day, is what they said. Whoever has the fastest lap during this race of the day, you win this big prize. And it ended up being like this full-on carbon handlebar, like a $350 handlebar or something like that. But VJ, after I had just pushed him down in the sand pit, he pops up, and I said, hey, when you go around the next lap, pin it as hard as you can and try to get the fastest lap of the day. So, of course, after we were joking around, he jumps on his bike, pins it, crushes the fastest lap of the day in the cyclocross event. And it was out of everyone, out of all the Cat 1s, everybody. And, wins the handlebars. But that goes to show, I always say VJ is the most athletic person I know. And what I mean by that is when you normally look at an athlete's body, it doesn't look like VJ's. Let's just say that. So So, but
I think that's a compliment, BJ.
it is 100% a
Yeah.
compliment. It's
Think so,
100%.
yeah.
But I think that's true in cycling in general, right? I mean, when you get to the elite levels, they all look the same and they all look like cyclists. But there's some fast guys that when you look at them, they shouldn't be going as fast as they are. You know, whether it be that they just don't look in shape or whether they look too much in shape, right? So either super big, muscular. Andre from Carbon 6 is a perfect example. Andre shouldn't be going as fast as he's going. He's built like a linebacker, and the guy's out here winning races now. Like, and he's catted up. He's raced in the Cat 2 to Cat 2-3 race. No, 1-2 race in Virginia this weekend, and did really well. So yeah, cyclists can't judge the book by the cover.
Thanks, Don.
You're welcome, VJ.
Yeah, I think he said all of that just to, you know,
To cover up.
say
what-
how amazing you are. We had someone that said, JTMTV said, I can't ride without a dropper. Y'all crazy. My gravel bike has a dropper. Can't ride it without it.
Nah, I know a lot. Well, look, once you get used to that dropper post, man, it is like you gotta ride with it.
It
It's
is 2
hard to ride
pounds.
without-
It's 2 pounds, man.
Yeah, but it's a big difference, man. When you're going downhill, it's a big difference.
If you're
I
riding
think we should
trails
put up-
like Michaud or Watershed, it's like need it. It's not even like if or what. Like
No.
absolutely need it.
But I mean, a lot of people come from the mentality that they didn't have it back in the day, and they did perfectly fine with that without it. So, you know, I think that's what kept me out for so long. It's like, oh, I don't need it to bunny hop over a tree. I don't need it to do this or do that. It's not that I don't need it. I don't need clipless pedals either, right? But damn, they're so much better for me than flats. And I don't need a dropper post to get over this log or get over that. But man, does it make it a lot easier when I do have that dropper post.
Yeah.
So I'll sacrifice some weight.
Do you think a dropper pose? I feel like it has like the sections where you can use it. Yes, you can clear stuff, but I feel like for like an enduro race, for like what he's doing this weekend, maybe remove it, since it's like you're not really using it.
I mean,
If it's
there's
something like that is flat, I
Like-
just gave you an idea to shave off 2 pounds of that bike.
well,
Look at him.
I just he's the last person. He is not. He's opposite of a weight weenie. He is
True.
completely. He can care less about weight. But I think there's definitely courses and stuff out there where you don't need it. I mean, you can ride Schaefer Farm. Like
True.
Paul and I used to ride from Schaefer Farm down to the canal and back. We did that a bunch of times, and I don't think that sometimes we went and there wasn't a down tree the entire time. Like there was nothing there that you had to drop your post with, right, Paul?
No, not at all. Not at all. In fact, you could keep your front fork locked out on most of that stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so.
I mean,
So-
Schaefer Farm, it's almost like non-technical. If anything,
Right.
you get like a couple routes here and there, like bridges and stuff. So
Is anyone using a dropper post in cross, Paul, that you know of?
cross
Not that
country.
I've seen. Not that I've seen. Actually,
Cyclocross.
Oh, cyclocross.
not actually cyclocross. No, not that I've seen. Not. I mean, so Elvis made a point. Hey, I can get you 2 pounds off your bike, but is that true, or is it 1 pound at this point? Like, where are we at on weight between a dropper post and a good carbon post?
I mean, it's maybe a pound.
Maybe. Yeah, I think.
I mean, so if you go ultralight dropper posts, they have like BMC has a bike that has a dropper post that's actually part of the bike, and you probably don't lose. You probably
I mean,
don't
it's
even
part of
lose
the bike.
Yeah, it's literally part of the frame, and you may not even lose any. Well, obviously you gotta lose a little bit, but not much at all.
And it's a pound, so, and it's not rotational weight, so in the
No.
end it's not going to matter a ton. And I feel like the benefits like definitely outweigh the con with the weight. And like, yeah, sometimes they're a pain for maintenance. Like Donald serviced like maybe 20 dropper posts this week, Every time I was in
Yeah.
the shop, he was
Yeah.
doing a dropper post that was covered in mud.
Yeah, it's literally, it's one of those things where people don't think about servicing them until they stop working. So, and then they bring them in and service them. But a lot of times, just like anything else, by the time it stopped working, it's way past its service interval. You probably should have had it serviced a long time ago. You know, you don't wait until your this motor stops running before you service it. You know what I mean? You change that oil frequently, and unfortunately, people just don't see it that way.
Maggie Diaz said the mustache is era.
Is that Maggie?
Maggie.
Ooh. Let me tell you about Maggie. Maggie's VJ's, whatever you want to call her. I'll let you call her out, VJ. But anyway, she plays practical jokes on me all the time.
Partner in crime. A
Partner.
Wait.
in crime.
That's exactly it. Thank you, Dr. Lavelli.
One of the best.
Mag.
One of the best scams I've ever seen.
Is that the time that he went to jail?
She got you too, Dr. Lavelli.
100%.
She got you too.
100%.
That she got me again. Let me tell you about the one she got me again. She calls me kind of like panicking, telling me that VJ just got arrested. And I'm like,
which is in the realm of possibility. It's not like, oh.
well, she's so good at what she does. She needs to be an actor or an actress. So she has me believing that VJ got arrested and all of it was lies. just so VJ can pop out from around the corner and say, "I got you." It was so good. She's so good at setting me up. She sets me up and plows me down every single time. She gets me.
Elvis, let me tell you the original story. Have you heard it? I'm going to tell
No.
you. Okay. So we're all in the shop, and in walks this woman, and is trying to specialize and made this one piece. Sorry, this is not this one piece bib that had for women only, and I think Tom is there, I'm there. We're all trying to help her figure out how to put it on, because none of us can figure out like what's the right way.
It's the weirdest bib ever.
Is that the one with the X in the back?
It has some type of pocket in the back that's built in, and it does some weird thing. It's not like any other bib. It's their own thing.
34 years of school right here, and I could not figure that crap out. It was bad. And she would go into the fitting room and come out over her clothes with this bib on the wrong way every time. And so we're just desperately trying to, and then VJ walks in, like, VJ, what's up? And then VJ starts working on something in the back, and this woman comes out, and we finally get ready. She's like, I'm not gonna buy it, but then she starts asking Donald, like, who is he over there?
So she comes over to me and she's like, who's that guy? Right? And meanwhile, I had no idea that they knew each other at all.
Oh,
I
no.
thought they were perfect. I thought they were strangers. And I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna set you up with this dude. I said, that's my friend VJ. I got you. Don't worry about it. Right? So I think, again, I'm oblivious, because she was in the store trying on this hammock for about 15, 20 minutes before VJ came in.
How long did it take to plan this, VJ?
No, that's the dangerous part about her. She's spontaneous. She comes up with it in her head really quick. So I tell her, I got you. I'm gonna hook you up.
He's single.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I'm like, I got you.
He's
like,
an athlete.
100%. So I go.
He's got an arrow mustache. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
2 pages of KOMs.
2 pages, at least 2 pages of KOMs. What else do you
Some
need?
very heavy bikes, about 7.
Yeah. So I go. What's your name? So she tells me her name's Maggie. I'm like, hey Maggie, or hey VJ, ever meet you? I want you to meet my friend. I want you to meet my friend. And VJ's like, oh, don't do this. Don't embarrass me, right? Like, and I'm like, no, seriously, I want you to meet my friend. So VJ walks over to her and he starts to talk to her, and all of a sudden he just grabs like the back of her neck
They
and
kiss.
he kisses her. and no, but it gets worse. It gets worse because you know the society we're in right now.
Right.
We talk
right.
about getting canceled, right?
Don't say anything that get us canceled, right?
You talk about getting us canceled. He grabs her from behind the neck and he kisses her, and I'm still like, I'm shocked now, right? I'm more shocked. So
You're like, they're gonna close down my shop.
I'm like, this dude's about to go to jail, right? Like you can't do that nowadays. So he kisses her, and I'm like looking at her, I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, then they were like, gotcha, right? And I'm like, still like confused. I'm like, what the hell just happened? It was all an elaborate scheme just to play a joke on us. And it worked. It worked so good. It's one of the best ones, to the point where I had to play it back through the cameras because people wouldn't believe me if I told them. I played it back and laughed so many times at my reaction because I physically jumped back when he kissed her. I went like this. I was like, whoa.
He's fast.
Yeah, I'm like, that's good. So that's one VJ story. There's thousands of VJ stories. I have thousands of VJ stories. But yeah, so that's VJ and Maggie, who keeps writing in the chats. So if you see Maggie's chat pops up, and by the way, I owe her big time, and it's payback. It's all payback. I just got to think of a good one.
It's not gonna happen.
It's got to happen because she deserves it.
With her talent,
I like her so much, but don't like her.
No. I'm telling you, it will end up worse on you than it already is. Like, suck it up, swallow. Okay, she got me, and walk away.
She got me. She got me twice,
I'm
Paul.
telling you.
She got me twice,
telling
really
you.
good.
Yeah.
It's not fair. Like I told VJ that she's someone that I hate her so much, but I like her so much at the same time because she's super cool. But I hate the fact that she got me the way she did twice. I feel like
I can see a third time coming.
Yeah, 100%. You might as well
my
just write it
gosh.
in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm actually scared. I'm actually scared. Like, it scares me because she's good.
Listen,
She's really good at that.
She stopped commenting and she's in plotting right now.
Yeah, she's-
Right? She's got one of those boards with the string and the tacks, and she's drawing it out to where I'm going to be here at this time, and she's going to come in here.
Watch she pops out from that door behind
Yeah,
us.
I wouldn't doubt it. She's magical. So let's get back to bikes.
All right, so I do have a question, BJ, and we do get a lot of people on the chat and on the live that, kind of like starts like, especially like right now during summer, right? That they're, you start planning your routes and stuff and long rides and stuff like that. How are you getting ready for like this big race? Like, what is going to be your nutrition? What is going to be like your before and after?
Yeah, good question. So you can ask Donald. I've never been one for proper nutrition. I'm on the Donald nutrition diet, which is like diet soda and candy.
I brought him up right.
Yeah, he did. So honestly, like last year, I used like Goose. I used like some, I think like Scratch Labs powders, just like some electrolyte mix. Because you really do need that after that long.
Right.
Because cramping's gonna happen. But honestly, like there's 7-Eleven, so I'll like stop in a gas station and grab some candy.
Oh, so this is unsupported. You kind of like have to carry your own stuff?
So there are aid stations that are like pretty nice aid stations.
Okay.
But, there's also 7-Elevens stocked full of Red Bull, which that's fine by me. So
That's my boy.
yeah, honestly, like I don't really fall into like the gimmicks of a lot of like, I think they're gimmicks, like a lot of electrolyte mixes and supplements. Like in the end of the day, like it's carbs and sugar. Just go get some gummy bears. It's the same thing. So for this probably a lot of candy, probably a few hot dogs. I have an aid station full of hot dogs. Last year I ate 4 in like a minute and threw them up at the end, so that was kind of fun. But yeah, so a mix of things. Not one magic bullet for them all. So
Right, right.
That's cool. I like to. Oh, someone said pickle juice.
Pickle juice. Yeah, you remember that? So yeah.
7-Eleven hot dogs and taquitos.
Yeah,
Someone
that's
said that.
7-Eleven hot dogs is not the right move.
I mean, essentially, you want something that, like you said, high in sugars, high in calories.
But also something that your stomach can handle.
Right.
I mean, that's the other side of it. So the and not to counter what VJ said about carbs and sugar and that's all you need. I think the science behind it, where these guys are making their money and what works, is how fast your body can absorb those carbs and sugars. Right. So that's the hard part. That's the science behind it. Is not just saying, okay, well, all you need is carbs and sugars. Yeah.
Right.
But if you just use regular table salt, you just use regular sugar, your body's not going to absorb it the way that it would, say, if you use like Morton's or something like that. That's designed for your body just to really soak it in and to take it. So, I think that's the biggest thing. I think you 100% can get by with just your basic sugars and going into 7-Eleven and stuff like that. And again, VJ, I'll tell you, that's the way I used to not have even a water bottle. I would just ride from fountain to fountain from wherever else I needed to go. And I would do pretty long rides. I'd do 65, 70 mile rides in the summertime without a water bottle. And I would just got used to it. I suffered. Now it definitely made me suffer. And I see the difference now that I'm getting older. I cannot do that kind of stuff anymore. I did a 20-mile ride pretty hard today, and I had my water bottle on, but I was riding so hard for myself that I didn't drink any of it, and I felt it towards the end, for sure.
Still no bottle cages on your bike, though.
No, I have bottle cages on my bike now. Paul literally wouldn't let me ride with them if I didn't have a water bottle and nutrition. Yeah. So
Especially that long. 20 miles, I might let you go with just a water bottle.
I mean, it's key if you're doing. I feel like anything above 30, maybe 30 miles, you should be taking something.
I think it's time, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily mileage. I think it's time. I
Oh,
think
the
it's
time on the saddle, you think?
well, how long? Yeah, how long
How long the ride
how
is.
long you're gonna be on the ride, and when do you start using your nutrition, right? So you want to start using your nutrition almost immediately. As a matter of fact, you start using your nutrition before the ride starts.
Well, here's the thing. Here's my theory, right? If I'm doing a long ride, I'm already leaving the house with breakfast, coffee, whatever. I should be good for the next hour and a half. After that hour and a half ride, I'll start using what I'm taking. Because I'm already
No, I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
but have you ever heard of that when they say when you feel thirsty, it's already too late?
right, yeah.
That's true. It's 100%
But
true.
Elvis, let me go with your theory just for a sec. Think about it. When you're not riding your bike and you're going to work in the morning, do you have breakfast and coffee?
When I'm not right, say that again?
So let's say you're going to work in the morning. You're not riding your bike in the morning. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have your breakfast? Do you have breakfast and coffee?
Right.
And think about it. You don't burn.
That was a yes or no call. That was a yes or no, Elvis.
Yes.
Okay.
Just Dr. Paul.
But you go to work, you're not burning the same calories you are on a bike. So just
Right.
because you have breakfast and coffee doesn't mean you're ready for your bike. The thing that I found and 60 and 70 miles is one thing, but once I go over 80 and 90 miles,
Mm-hmm.
my nutrition totally has to change. I have to be eating at 15 minutes into that
Right.
100-mile ride. Because
Right.
I can never recover the calories that I'm burning.
And there should never
And-
be a 15-minute period that you haven't eaten
100%.
or drank.
But here's the thing, though.
And- And what's the most challenging thing, which is all this research, which is, I agree with VJ, your body is different than my body, which is different than Donald's
I was
body.
gonna say that.
We tolerate food differently. You have to figure out. It's a learning process to figure out. Like I know, like after 100 miles, I can't do 100 miles of goo. I can't do it. I'll stop goos. I won't even be able to stomach a goo at mile 60.
Same.
That's all I'm doing. Like I've got to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I've got to have some whole food during that time, or else I'll just stop eating. It almost makes you gag when you try to put that
Yeah,
stuff in your mouth.
I'm opposite. I can just keep using goos, whatever else. It doesn't even matter. I don't even care what it is. I can just keep using it. I used to always laugh and say my stomach could take barbecued rocks. Like
Sorry.
You eat
Yeah.
barbecue rocks. I've seen it.
yeah. So it's like I don't. It doesn't even food. Food to me is like I love food so much, and I like such a variety of food that my body just works well with it. So liquid nutrition on a ride is
Yeah.
easy for me. It's super easy. I mean, I have no problems with it at all.
Yeah.
Time I ever saw
Bill-
you with any nutrition, Donald, on a bike, let's say a water bottle, was that Patapsco 66 we signed up for. That's the first time I saw you with a water bottle on your bike.
Yeah.
And
Well, here's an example. So last year when we started doing gravel, and VJ, you did a gravel ride with me, you noticed the difference between my performance when I was using nutrition versus when I hadn't years prior. You remember? I remember you actually saying, you're like, man, you're riding. This is the strongest I've seen you ride in a long time. It's mostly because I had started getting used to using water, riding with Paul, riding out in the Leedsburg area. Like, there's nowhere to stop. That entire ride, I think we had one place we could really stop if we needed to buy nutrition or buy something to drink. So we had to kind of carry it ourselves. And, and they were riding at such a high pace that I couldn't afford to fall off, because after you fall off, it's sufferfest. So in order to enjoy a ride and not suffer, nutrition would come into key. And it honestly turns a ride that could potentially be a sufferfest into something that's fun. That's the difference between having a good time on a bike and not having a good time on a bike, is how fit you are.
But I feel like if you're jumping into like what he's doing this weekend, right?
Yeah.
What if you're jumping to something like what he's doing this weekend? 100 miles on the bike doesn't matter if it's. I mean, it does matter. Mountain bike will be a lot harder, of course. Like to an extent, you can't just like. I mean, I've seen people do it. We're all doing 100 miles this weekend, and hoping
not
for the
gonna have
best.
fun.
It's not
They're
going to
not
do
gonna
like
have
that.
fun.
But if you plan it and like the most important thing is to know your body, like what you're saying, to know what what it takes for you to get there.
See,
Like, it can be gels, it can be waffles. Maggie said, "Have you ever packed anything crazy for a race?" I mean, that's a great point, because I like to take something that if I'm like crashing, like that little, like for me it's like a little bag of Doritos. Like if we stop at 7-Eleven and I get a bag of Doritos and I'm like at my point of almost quitting, that bag of Doritos brings everything back. Like
No, I get it. That's like, you need that. What do you call
Stimulant,
those?
I guess.
Those happy foods.
just happy, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
in Arizona, Nick Greiser and I bagged up spaghetti and ate it on the trail. So, again,
Yeah, that's definitely different.
Yeah.
it depends,
Yeah. But see, Elvis, you're used to I would say you're probably, out of all my friends, the most the person who likes to ride endurance the most, right? Like, I mean, because you'll do at least one ride a year where you ride from sun up to sundown, right? Or you how many centuries have you done this year?
I don't know.
Over 10?
I don't think it's over 10.
Okay, but you've done a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Done a few.
I haven't done a century in 4 years.
Yeah, 100 miles is a long way. It's really.
It's a
It
long
is.
way.
It
like,
is.
You're not.
Peop-
You're not getting off the couch and going to do 100 miles. I don't care.
No, well, I mean, you can, but you're not going to enjoy it.
It's not
I don't
enjoyable,
even- I
and no
don't even
100
think-
miles is gonna be fun. Like no 100 miles. Just put it this way. Like let's say he did 12 miles. What was it? 12.5 last year.
Yeah. 12
So
miles.
you did 12.5 last year, and then let's say you every hour you did what? 5, 6 hours? 6 hours? 7?
No, it's like 9,
Yeah, 9.
9.5.
9? Okay, my math is not that great.
That's okay.
Clearly, we're not here because
We're not. Yeah, we're not.
that
Yeah,
I wasn't
we're not
gonna
that.
take chances.
Yeah.
But like so you're gonna be on the bike for at least 10 hours.
Mathematicians.
There you go. Thank you, Dr. Paul, for your help.
I'm still stuck on you getting Doritos. Because
Oh,
you know
really?
Why? Yeah, and let me tell you why.
Wait, let me finish this. So like
Yeah, go.
you're gonna be on the bike for 10 hours, including like rest stops. Like that's not easy, dude.
No.
No, it's not
not.
easy. It's not fit. And I'm talking mentally easy. It's not physically easy.
No,
It's not.
It's a lot.
It's not easy on just sitting on it. Never mind exercising. Just think about sitting on a seat. So if you're not sitting on the entire time, say you're
On something that it's like this big.
just imagine sitting on a seat for 6 hours.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody that's uncomfortable and that people that don't ride that long, I tell them this: when you're uncomfortable, take a long flight and feel how uncomfortable you get on that flight. You get way more uncomfortable on a bike than you do on that flight. So
holding your neck up for 6 hours.
Yeah.
is painful.
yeah, hold it.
That's where
Just
people
trying to
who
stand.
have experience feel it here and here because you're literally holding yourself up in that
That's right.
position for 6 hours, which we don't do any other time.
No. Naturally, you just don't do it. So I mean, it's a very uncomfortable position. Even if you got fit for a bike and you claim that you're one with your bike, once you go out into that deep water, you don't realize how hard it is to maintain a position, or your hands start to hurt, your parts of your body start to ache that you're just not even used to feeling.
Here's one thing I know that go back though, because I don't want to lose this point. Donna, let me ask you a question before I go to it. You drove on your bike 60 miles. You didn't bring any nutrition. You walk into 7-Eleven. What do you get? Food-wise, not drink-wise, food-wise. What do you get? Because Elvis gets Doritos. DJ gets hot dogs, maybe? I'll give you a chance. Okay. All right. What do you get?
I just do like candy. That's the only like after a
Okay,
while
candy.
that's all I can really
Yeah.
digest. I can't.
What do you get, Donald?
Uh-huh.
You're 90 miles in.
I don't
You're
know.
done.
I don't know.
I know exactly.
You've seen me you've seen what I've got. What
Mine is
what's
always blueberry or maple Pop Tarts? Well, hands down.
Oh, those are great. Those are great.
Ooh,
That's
that's
a
good.
good choice.
But here's the thing. I burn sugar at a really high rate. I don't burn a ton of salt at a really high rate. My guess is VJ burns sugar at a really high rate. My guess is he doesn't burn a lot of salt. Elvis is craving Doritos. My guess is he burns a lot of salt. I mean, think about that here.
What have you seen me get, Paul? What have you seen me get?
Taco Bell.
No. No.
You'll get a donut sometimes, right? I've seen you get a little pack of donuts.
Yeah, I've gotten something like that, just for the sugar, and then I top that sugar with more sugar, coming
Yeah.
from like I'll do a red. I like Red
yeah,
Bulls.
you- Red Bulls, you're a Red Bull.
I'll do. So I go in. The first thing I look for is like that Red Bull in the green can. I don't even know what flavor it is, but whatever the stuff is in a green can,
Sponsor alert.
dude, that Red Bull in the green can works wonders.
Does it
So-
give you wins? Does it make you extra watts?
I don't know what it gives me, but
Matches
It
his
helps.
Kelly gear. Matches
Yeah.
his Kelly gear.
so the Red Bull in the green can is the good stuff, and then I'll also get like a berry. What do you call those sport or some type of sport drink or whatever, and I'll guzzle the Red Bull and I'll put the rest of the sport drink in my bottle if I can.
I've not
Yeah,
seen
that's
you
it.
get a ton of food. I've not seen you get a ton
I don't
of
think
food.
I
It's
don't
usually
think
kind
I
of- yeah.
I made a so one I went riding down to Annapolis once from BWI Airport. I rode down to Annapolis and got down there. We were hanging out at the docks, and I decided to get a cream of crab soup. and I had to ride back to BWI Airport, and it was horrible. It was one of the worst decisions I made. It's a life lesson.
So Bill said that is exactly what makes it fun when we were talking about the how hard. I mean, dude, we all know someone that has been riding bikes for like 10, 15 years and they never done 100 miles.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of people, but I it's one of those things where I think you do it, and to me, I've done it already, so I don't really feel like I have to do it, right? Like if I can get a good crew together that I know we're going to have a good time and it's going to be a ton of laughs,
The crew's right here, sir.
I'm down. Yeah, this would be a good crew. This would be a great crew.
My brother said,
down.
I did 80 miles on May 25th, liquid only, and I felt great. I was going slow and enjoying the views.
So he didn't
Yeah.
go with you.
He didn't go with me. It's okay.
Because I can tell you right now, he said he was going slow and enjoying the view. If you go with Elvis doesn't know. He's kind. It's funny.
Is there a
It's
way
funny.
to block people here on the chat or no? Because he's about to get blocked.
No, so it's so
No? Okay.
it's so funny. You, Elvis, and VJ, I wouldn't go on a ride with you guys. That would just be, I think, all three of you.
You just
guys,
said we were the perfect crew to do 100 miles.
Then I thought about it. I'm allowed to change my mind, aren't I? It's America.
Reel it back in.
We're
Yeah.
allowed- it's America.
Elvis, he just threw out a challenge.
You damn
Yeah,
right. I
yeah.
started
DJ
thinking
and
of.
I were drooling. We're like, oh, this is a great idea. Let's do it.
No. Do you know? I
See,
said,
this is the second thing that gets canceled. First, there was a race going on with you, Paul, and now he literally just took him 30 seconds to decide that he's not doing a ride with us anymore.
listen. I've ridden with all of you guys as individuals,
As
and let me tell you, I already know how. I can tell you how this is gonna. You remember I said it's gonna be really fun if we did it, and then blah blah blah. Well, guess what? You guys would have the fun. You guys would be looking at me suffering, and to VJ at least would bring joy. It would bring him joy. Yeah,
And to
I just
Maggie.
don't- and I just don't want to be. I don't want to be that guy in that group. That's just not what I want to do.
Well, I think Billy has a great idea, and I think we should consider his idea. He said, let's do SMN 100 all together.
Nope, did it, been there, done that. Will never, ever do that again. There was nothing fun about that. That was one of the hardest times I've ever had on a bike. Period.
That's
The
100
first
miles
century.
on crack. That's not 100 miles. That's 100
No.
miles on crack.
That's that's a good point. That's like
It's
the way that the
like,
trails are over there. It's probably like, let's say you do 150 miles in like kind of like the trail in Schaefer Farms compared to Shenandoah.
I rode my bike from here, actually, from my Elkridge shop. And my goal was to go from here to my Germantown shop, and I got lost ended up way down past DC, almost in Virginia, and I had to ride back up to the Germantown shop.
How long ago was this? There was no computers.
Yeah, there was no Strava, but there were computers and phones, and it ended up being 140 miles or 100 and something like that, unprepared, thinking that I was literally only going to do like 40 or 50, right? So that was a miserable day. It was completely miserable on a bike. Shenandoah made that day feel like it was beautiful. Like it really did. Shenandoah, I remember wanting to quit so bad. Like I just wanted to quit.
Did
But-
you have to use your lights?
Oh yeah. I was coming in.
Were you last? Because
No,
I know
I wasn't last.
because I know someone that made it last, and they're like in Wikipedia for
I
being the
wasn't-
last rider.
I wasn't last. I was kind of towards the middle of the back of the middle when people were coming in. But yeah, I swore that I would never do it again. And believe it or not, my friends talked me into doing it the next year. But thank goodness it was during a hurricane offshore, and we were only 20 miles or so into it, and they canceled the race. They stopped the race in the middle of the race because they were afraid of flash floods.
And you were happy about?
I was extremely happy. Extremely happy. So I mean, that's a big no for me about the Shenandoah 100. Now, if you guys want to do something like the C&O Canal,
That's even harder. It's all flat. It's like constantly pedaling. You
I
don't
think
get.
what he's saying,
You don't get.
I think what he's saying is he thinks that the four of us can make it from DC to Cumberland and back in one day. I think.
Oh, that sounds fun. That's my.
DC and Cumberland and back. There's
I'm
no
down
way
for that.
I don't want to do that. See, you guys you're making everything into a race. I don't want to go.
It's not a race. He's having fun. And can you imagine? Like we can do like a live podcast of like 14 hours of us riding.
Nah. No, I'm good.
No
I'm
water
good.
bottle.
The
I'm
water
good.
bottle.
That-
I mean, they do
that's-
have the little things that you can pump water out of them.
Fountains
Yeah.
on the way. There's a couple fountains on the way.
Yeah. Me and Andy did 54 on the canal the other week, and it wasn't.
It was.
I wasn't happy at the end.
Dude, my brother just put a comment on it. He said, "Remember our last 100 miles at the CNO Canal?" Dude, we did 100. I don't know like what happened, but like both of us.
Didn't we start? Did we start that with you guys? Was it me, Paul?
I don't remember. No.
And is that the one where you got the Andy?
No,
me, Paul?
no, that was
That's
with,
the one where you got the flat with Almond.
With Ullman. No, it was another time. I think we did that one with my brother towards the end of the year. But dude, it was so bad that it took us. I don't remember Remember I told you that I took those Lake boots that they were like 5 pounds each, and we were struggling, and we did it like powder base. We didn't really take like waffles or anything. It was just all powder based nutrition and water. But I think it took us like 11 hours to do 100 miles at the CNO Canal, and it was just bad. We don't know what happened. We just crashed.
Yeah, when you're only averaging 10 miles an hour on the canal, that's a bad day, brother.
And I took the mountain bike. I think we both have mountain bikes, and it was just like
We had,
grinding the whole time.
Me and VJ did Monster Cross one year, and that was a suffer fest. That's a 50-mile suffer fest for me. There's pictures of me sitting in a kid's swing, it looked like I was ready to just pass out. My poor wife loaded us all. It was 3 of us. We all drove down together. Amber, my wife, is an angel, and she drove us back, and so that's down near Richmond also, and. We were all 3 of the guys were completely passed out within like 5 minutes of getting in the car, and she just drove us back home. But
It's such a fast race, though.
those longer races, to me, I'm just not built like that, right? Like, I tried to do the Siegel Century in under 4 hours, and the last 20 miles was again suffer. Right, so I got 80 done at over 26, 27 miles an hour average.
Jeez.
With a big group. Right, we had a huge group.
Wait, that was road biking?
Yeah, road biking.
Even though the
and-
tap goes 66.
Yeah, the Patapsco 66, which is probably the hardest. If the old course, the original Patapsco 100 course, 3 or 4 people finished it, I think. Everybody else dropped out. We did the 66 during that 100, and I think we had 3rd place locked The first 30 miles, we did it in 4 hours.
Dang, it was that bad?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Wow.
And we were racing. This is us racing, and we're in third place at this time. We did it in 4 hours, and we get to the start finish line, and we start calculating. I'm like, so we're 4 hours into this race. There's no way in hell that we're going to get the next lap done faster than we did the first lap. Right? So we got another, and you start messing with your head. I'm messing with my head already before we even got back to the start finish line. I'm trying to figure out a way out of this damn race. So we get back to the start finish line, and I just look at VJ and goes, we're not going to make it. We got another 5 hours ahead of us. Like, I'm like, we have another 5 hours ahead of us no matter what. So I was like, I'll call it if you call it, VJ. And he was like, I mean, there's food there waiting on us. There's all kinds of stuff there. It's super. We're in the oasis right now, in this desert of pain, and there's food right here. We can stop now. So we both decided to stop. We had third place locked. The fourth place people were like 30 minutes or 40 minutes behind us. So we had the podium locked unless we either stopped and quit or we had some type of major mechanical. And we still said, yeah, let's just call it a day.
I mean,
So
we
you-
had almost 5,000 feet for that 33 miles.
Yeah, 5,000 feet of climbing for 30-something miles. And like I said, there's definitely lots of hike-a-bikes. That was the original in our area. That was, what did they call that rocky climb? That it's like, yeah, there's one really, really rocky climb that literally just drained you completely. But yeah, I'm not a long distance guy. You guys can have all the long distance stuff. Patapsco just got a new van, by the way. I signed the paperwork on it yesterday. We got a new support van. I could be in that van while you guys do whatever the hell you want to do as far as your long distance rides. I will support you from the van listening to good music with air conditioning on. So I'm down. You guys just tell me where and when.
What would it take? What would be the perfect route for you to join us on a 100-mile ride again?
I want to do, if I'm going to do it, this is a route that I always said I wanted to do. I wanted to do
Take note, guys.
Bay Bridge, our Bay Bridge, or from the Virginia Bay Bridge, from bridge to bridge. It's 150 miles.
How much elevation are we talking
Oh,
about?
it's in 150 miles, you might have 1,000 feet of elevation. It's flat. It's as flat as it can get. But there is an evil part of that ride. The evil part is the wind. So you gotta make sure that you're not going to get a headwind the entire 150 miles, because you could easily get that. Or it could be a tailwind. But either way, that's definitely a ride that's on my bucket list that I really want to do.
What's the route for that?
Basically start over near Salisbury, or actually there's a town, just as you come across the bridge, there's a town. I don't know the name of that little town. But I have it mapped out on Ride with GPS already. And it's 150, like I said, 150 miles, and it's probably, I don't even think it's 1,000 feet of elevation, to be honest
No,
with you,
it's
in
probably
150
not.
miles.
Probably.
So it's flat and fast, and
But you're
could-
right about the wind. I've had the Church Creek time trial. It's a huge difference on where
yeah,
the wind is
I
coming
mean,
from.
the crazy and sad part about wind is you never know when it's going to stop. You can see the crest of a hill, but you can't see when wind's going to stop. It's going to be what it's going to be.
There you go. You got a sponsor for the van. Splash MTV says, I will spray free candy on the side of the van.
Thank you.
Might catch VJ next
Yeah,
to it.
that would
Easy.
definitely put VJ back in jail.
Done.
I just
All right,
think that
wrap this up.
Yeah, we see this is when you know it's a good one, because we can go on and on and on. But Paul, you want to hit him with the questions?
Yes, this is BJ's. This is first time. We'll just leave it there. It's his first time, right? So BJ, what was your first bike, and who taught you how to ride the bike?
First real bike was a 1976 Raleigh Grand Prix road bike that I could actually remember riding the most. And I found that in the trash. I think my dad taught me how to ride a bike way back when. And I have 2 older twin brothers, so we all just kind of learned off each other, pushing each other over and whatnot. So yeah, back then. So
Nice.
I
nice.
thought he was going to tell me it was a bike he made, which is not too far from the truth, honestly.
Yeah.
I got it out of the trash, but
I thought it was one of those bamboo bikes that you used to ride, BJ.
he's not against that. He's not against
might as well be. Might as well be.
Plant based.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those plant based.
one of those vegan bikes.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up. I can tell Dr. Paul he's a little older than us. He needs to get his sleep.
I just think he's not going to get enough sleep for his ride tomorrow. That's what he's concerned.
This is true.
Yeah. So where are you riding tomorrow, Paul?
Tomorrow I have a workout at 6:30. You want to join me? It's Bring a
Absolutely
Friend
not.
to CrossFit.
Absolutely not. 6:30 in the morning?
Yeah.
No, I'm up. Hey, I'm an early riser, but there's nothing.
Front squats, side push, and then walking handstand. Right up your alley, man.
I could do the
Right up
handstand.
your
I could do the handstand part. I'd shock you with the handstand part.
I
But-
would love to see that. Not
But
right now, but I would
No.
love to see that.
yeah, but yeah, the other things, not so much. Not so much. What are you weighing now, Paul?
188.
188. Mass moves mass, Paul. When's your first your tournament or your competition?
June 22nd.
Where is it?
Kentucky.
Dang, that's too far for me to go. But I really want to go. I wanna go
for you.
Kentucky. Okay.
I can go and set up and streaming for you if you want.
That's what we should do. We should go and set up everything and stream from Paul's first CrossFit competition
There you go.
But in that new van, Donald.
in that new
The
van.
new band, yeah.
There we go.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to call it a night. Appreciate everybody coming in. Hey, guys, go to our YouTube channels. Like and subscribe, please. We got our black and tan merchandise in. Oh, give me a second. I'm going to go grab one.
So wish you a lot of luck, man, on the race.
It's a race, but in the end of the day, it's a ride. You know, I'm not.
Yeah. Are you riding by yourself, or are you
No, I'm
taking a
riding
group?
with, Nick Greiser and a few others, so like 6 or 7.
All right.
Right.
We're getting feedback from you, Paul. Ooh, that's nice.
So check this out, guys. We got black and tan jerseys in, right? This one is one of our mountain bike jerseys. It's got a pocket in the back. It's pretty cool. You don't really see that a lot on mountain bikes, but I like it. Another thing is with our merchandise that we have that you'll be able to go to Hill Killer and you'll be able to buy the merchandise off of Hill Killer. We're selling it basically at our cost, right? And what we're trying to do is write checks to Maryland youth cycling leagues like NICA and like BYC. So with every purchase of a Hill Killer jersey, you're basically going to be donating $10 to NICA or BYC. So yeah, come check out go to hillkiller.com. Tell them you want that black and tan kit.
Can you do a giveaway?
We can totally do a giveaway.
Do you want to say whoever subscribes, likes this video, and puts a comment can potentially win one?
Yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Mainly because he put me on the spot.
Sorry. We also have an S-Works. Can we?
So
Hold on.
Check out-
Let me comment. Hold on.
yeah. Sorry, guys. So Yeah, we'll give a jersey away. We'll give a mountain bike jersey away. We don't have a lot of the road left, but we'll give a mountain bike jersey away. Yeah, but we're gonna have to randomly pick it. We have to figure out a way to pick it.
So if someone can put a comment, it could say jersey, then we'll gather all the comments and then kind of like put them on a bucket and then just pick the name.
Yeah.
And,
So we're-
if they want a road jersey instead of the mountain bike jersey, we'll get more ordered.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So we've been working closely with Hill Killer, and they're helping. I would kind of say sponsoring this whole thing as far as our endeavors, as far as trying to sell merch and get raise some money for Maryland Youth Cycling. So, like I said, if you want a black and tan jersey, and the road jerseys actually look pretty slick. Me and Andy were rocking them the other day, and people were making all kinds of cool comments about them once we went down into Virginia. A lot of people said they liked it a lot.
Cool, man.
So, yeah, so we're going to wrap it up. Don't forget to like, subscribe to our YouTube channels. If you're watching it on Facebook, go to our YouTube channels and like and subscribe. We don't get any kind of credit for our Facebook, but we do get some credit for our YouTube channels. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Thanks everyone who joined the live. So make sure you comment on the video jersey if you're watching on DMVM TV or Black and Tan or Facebook, and we're gonna be checking the comments, and then maybe next episode we can do the raffle and pick the name.
That'll work.
Yep.
I like that.
Thank you so much, VJ, for joining us.
For sure. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Later. I'll
See ya.
tease you later, VJ. All right.
All right, how do we end